let us now create our joystick movement. For that, we need to go here under Game Object, UI, and create a button. I am going to remove the text from the button and I'm going to position it here and set his anchor at the bottom left corner. This is going to be our left button, and I'm going to filter for the left button image, and I'm going to set the width and the height to 120 by 120 and reposition the button here. I can simply copy and paste the button and position this one near the other one, and this is going to be our right button, and I'm going to filter for the right button image. And lastly, I'm going to take the right button, copy it, and move it here, and set his anchor to bottom right corner. And this is going to be our jump button, so I'm simply going to name it jump. And here I'm going to filter for our jump button. And this is what we have here. Now we need to go in our scripts folder and create joystick scripts, and here create a joystick script. Select the left and the right, so don't select the jump button because we are going to add a listener to our button from the player script. But for our left and right, select both of them and apply our joystick script component on both of them. And now we are going to open this in MonoDevelop. First, I'm going to type here using Unity Engine Event Systems. And here where we are inheriting from Mono behavior, we need to also implement iPointer, so pointer up handler and iPointer down handler. This is going to enable us to use these two functions, public void on pointer up or on pointer down first, which is going to take a pointer. So let me just type it here. So it's pointer event data as a parameter, and I'm going to name this parameter data. We are also going to have here on pointer up handler. And these two functions, so the first one is going to tell us when we touch a button, and the second one is going to tell us when we release a button. So here we can say if GameObject.name is equal to left, meaning we have touched the left button. So here I can simply say debug.log, and here I can print, for example, left. And I can say else, meaning that the name is not left but right. We can print here instead of left, we can say right. And let us test this out just to see how it works. So now we have these, or the script is attached to both of our buttons, and if I run the game, if I touch here, we are going to see right. If I touch here, we are going to see left. So again, left, and right, so on and so forth. And we can go back now, and we can leverage this in order to make our player move left and right. For that, we need to go in our player script, and first here we need to create a private Boolean variable, which is going to be move left and move right. And here we have our player walk keyboard, and here we are going to create player walk joystick. And here we are going to create our force X. We are not going to create our force Y because we are going to use a separate function for it. And here we are going to use our velocity. And now I can simply test here if move right is true, then we are going to move right. So I can simply copy all these lines of code here because they are going to be the same. So if we are moving right, then we are going to move right. Else if move left, then we are going to move left. I'm going to paste the same lines of code, but I'm going to set the negative move force here, and the scale is going to be -1. Else, if we are not moving left or right, we need to set our Boolean parameter for the animator to be false, because if we are not moving, then we are not going to animate our player moving. So here we need to say false. And at the end, we need to apply force to our rigid body. So here I'm going to copy this line of code, and I'm going to pass here force for the X, but for the Y is going to be 0. And now in our joystick script here, we can simply create a private player script reference, which I'm going to name player. And in our awake function, we can simply get it. So we can say player, so not player prefs, but player is equal to game object find our player in the scene, .get component, and get his player script component from him. And now if we are moving left, what we can do, and here we need to create that parameter or that function that we are going to use. So here I'm going to say public void set move left, which is going to take a Boolean parameter move left. Now what we are going to do here is we are going to say this dot move left is equal to move left. We can also create another function, so we can copy this function, and this is going to be our move right, and here we are going to pass the parameter move right, and we are going to set this dot move right is equal to move right. But a shortcut for this can be, we can just remove this. Here we are setting move left to be equal to this parameter, and here we can say this dot move right is equal to the opposite of move left. So practically, if we pass here true, then move left will be true, move right will be the opposite of true, meaning false. So we are not going to move right. And also here we need to create a public void stop moving function. And here we are going to say this dot move left is equal to false, and this dot move right is equal to false in order to stop moving. And we can go in our joystick script now, and if we are moving left, we can say player dot set move left to be true. Else if we are not moving left, then we can say set move left false, meaning that we are moving right. And when we lift our finger from the buttons, we can say player dot stop moving in order to set our parameters both to false. Now we can go and test this out, but before that I forgot that we actually need to call the function. So in our fixed update, we actually need to call this function in order for this to work. And I'm going to comment our walk keyboard so that we can only walk using our joysticks. If I go now here, if I hold the right button, we are moving right. If I hold the left button, we are moving left. So this is what we are doing here. And now if we press the jump button, we are not jumping. So let us fix that. For that, we are going to go here in our player script, and here I am going to create a void or public void jump function. And here we are simply going to test if we are grounded. So if we are grounded, then grounded is false. And we are going to add force to our rigid body, and here we are going to say jump force. So 0 on the x-axis because we don't want to apply any force on the x-axis. And on the jump force we are going to, on the y-axis we are applying jump force. And we need to go here in the beginning, and we need to say using Unity Engine UI. And in our awake function, we can simply get here the reference. So we can say game object find, and we can find the game object that's named jump, which is our jump button if we go back here. So this is our jump button, the game object that we want. And we can get that game object, and we can say dot get component, get the button component from it, dot onClick, dot add listener. And here we can simply pass our listener. So this is the syntax, open parentheses, equals greater than sign, and pass our jump function or any function that we want to add to it. So now if I go back here and run the game, if I press this button, we see that we are jumping. And if I press any of these buttons, we see that we are moving. Now I'm not playing this on my phone so that I can press one of these movement buttons and jump, but I can jump and move, and we see that that actually works. So you can test this on your device, and this is for the devices. Practically this joystick movement is made for mobile devices and tablets, so on and so forth. So you can test this on your devices, and you can try to actually, move the player. So you can jump here and then move him, so on and so forth. I cannot play this with my mouse only, and I will not test it on my device. But as I said, you can test it on the device, but this is how can we actually create our joystick movement. So practically we are done with our game. Enjoy playing this awesome game.